Broadcasting from an undisclosed location under a farm pond somewhere in the Midwest. Your host is Jim Crowley. This is Slickfish Radio. Hey, welcome back, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Slickfish Radio. Looking forward to this one tonight because we are going to have on, for those who just joined us, we are having on Adam Christianson from Adrenaline Angling Guide Service, and we just got done filming a show with him up in the Crosse region, and it was awesome. We caught white bass, we caught bunches of crappie. I'm sure some of you saw some of the posts out there from social media that we put out there. So we actually had to pre-record this interview with Adam yesterday, and you're going to see it here in just a little bit because he's out fishing again tonight. I cannot tell you enough about how, if your family is interested in going on a little fishing excursion, going on a trip, the La Crosse region is a fantastic place to go. One, because you got plenty of places to stay. You have plenty of things to see. You have plenty of places to eat that are absolutely wonderful. And the Mississippi River can be a little intimidating, especially with the rising and lowering water levels. But if you want to get around a great area that has a ton of fish and just a beautiful place, the La Crosse area is absolutely wonderful. My wife just chimed in. I'm watching. Well, she's always watching me. Glad to have you, sweetie. Glad you're here. And thank you for everybody else who is jumping on and joining us as well. A couple things I want to mention before we get to the interview with Adam, and that is this is going to be the last Slickfish Radio until after ICAST, which is it's about 2 or 3 weeks. But we just got a lot of stuff going on. We're going to be heading down to Florida here in a couple days to do some tarpon fishing and film a show film another episode for my show on Wired to Fish TV. Then we're going to Eagle Lake. Lake of the Woods. We're going to a place called Shady Roost, and we're going to be doing some smallmouth and walleye fishing there and filming some shows there. And then right after that is ICAST. And then we've got a bunch of guests lined up after that. So there's going to be some great stuff coming and some great stuff coming on Slickfish Radio. And I want to talk a little bit before we get to the interview with Adam tonight. I want to, hey, Donald Hoskins. Hi, Donald. How you doing, buddy? I want to congratulate our friends at American Tackle. This past week in Europe, they just won their 13th industry award. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think any other component company, if you're a rod builder, realize this, no other component company out there, nobody has won 13 industry awards. American Tackle, based in Florida, American Tackle has, and that's worldwide. They've won awards for everything, including, I think, 6 or 7 awards, I think 6 now, for the microwave guide system. But this is for some new reel seats that they're coming out with. Very excited to see a lot of the stuff that is going to be coming from American Tackle at ICAST. Any of you who watch the show or follow me on social media know that I build all my rods myself, and I build them all with American Tackle components. Just great to see these guys. They keep raising the bar when it comes to stuff that we can make our fishing experience better. So congratulations to all my friends at American Tackle. Just talking about the La Crosse area, and it's beautiful right now. I think the high school championship is going on right now. 400 boats in La Crosse right now. So everybody is busy. That's how cool of a destination that is when you got the high school championships there in La Crosse, 400 boats. Best of luck to everyone out there. That is going to be a heck of an event this week and a lot of stuff going on. So La Crosse area, just a great place to be, great place to travel to because it's such a beautiful region. I was just at Shields the other day. I had to take my bike in for some work and put a lot of miles on the bike lately. And as usual, Shields took care of everything. Anything you need in the outdoors, Shields has the experts, man. Their employees are invested in that company. They work hard to make sure that you have the best experience in the outdoors. And Shields, the store in Springfield, Illinois, that is our number one stop in Illinois for any and everything that is outdoors. So Shields is just a place to be, and it's awesome. They just had the reopening of their home store area inside the store there. My wife went crazy this weekend. She absolutely loved it. So guys, you want to take your wives there and see a really cool home decor place and then head up to the second floor like I did and go to the fishing and hunting section. Hey, it's a win-win for everybody. On top of that, they have great fudge there, just so you know. All right. So Shields is a place to be. Our friends at Cast King, lots of stuff coming out from Cast King and some stuff that will blow your mind that they are going to release at ICAST. I am really, really looking forward to that. And just so you guys know, when I am at ICAST, we will be doing lives every day. and other videos from ICAST, both on Facebook and on Instagram, so we can pull you in and let you know what's going on at the world's largest industry trade show. We did it last year. A lot of you seem to really like it. So we're going to do it again this year, and we're going to be giving you updates every day from ICAST. Also looking forward to seeing my buddies at Dakota Lithium. I know they have some new stuff coming out that we'll be previewing, and hopefully getting one of the guys from Dakota Lithium to come back on the show later this year and talk more about that. So the reason people are tuning in tonight is because you guys wanted to talk to Adam Christianson. What a great guy. He is really, Jay Bepson. Hi, Jay. How you doing, buddy? Adam it's been on an awesome crappie and white bass bite, but the walleye bite is really turned on. If you don't follow Adam Christianson and Adrenaline Angling Guide Service on Facebook, do it, because you will be able to see these daily catches of his with happy clients. And there's a lot of great guides in the La Crosse area, and I've been fortunate to fish with some of them, and Adam is definitely one of the best ones there. So we're going to talk a little crappie, we're going to talk a little walleye fishing. So without further ado, here's me talking to Adam Christianson, and stay tuned after the interview. We're going to talk a little bit more, and enjoy this interview because Adam is one great guy. Yeah, and so now, without further ado, I am going to bring in my buddy Adam Christianson. Adam, welcome to the show. Glad we finally got to put this together, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been looking forward to it. Jim, how are we doing today?
Good. Not as good as you, because you're fishing all the time. That's what and I get to do my fair share, but anybody who gets to do it more than me, I might have to say I'm a little bit jealous. But you put a lot of hard time and effort into it, and from what I just saw, as many white bass as we caught, and how crazy it was, and the crappie fishing was good, but now you're starting to get into the walleye bite pretty much, and I know that's one of your favorite things to do. So tell us a little bit about how the walleye bite has been and what people can expect this time of year.
Yeah, now that the river has dropped off nicely from the flood this spring, walleyes are kind of in their normal summer patterns. We're fishing wing dams for them. That's kind of what we stick to for the most part in the summer, is wing dams and steep drop-offs. And it's just been exceptional. Yesterday, was one of the better days I've probably ever had of summer walleye fishing. We lost track of how many we caught, over 20 inches. And you put together a day like that, Jim, it's just an awesome, awesome time on the water. There's nothing better than big walleye after big walleye coming topside.
Yeah, that's for sure. Because I know when you and I were fishing together, well, the white bass bite was insane. That's just nuts. And I know you were starting to get, you were telling me, as the water level was stabilizing, you're like, now I'm going to be able to start finding these walleyes pretty good. And they get in those predictable patterns, but especially walleyes, they can be finicky like that. And when that water level is not correct, you got to have more than one or two places to go to. And you've been checking these constantly, haven't you?
Oh, yeah, big time. It's all about, I've said it time and time again, you just can't replace time on the water when it comes to patterning fish. You can watch all the videos in the world and read all the articles you want, but until you're the one out there searching for them and putting in the hours and the hard work, it pays off eventually when you put in that amount of time to it, for sure.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Now, when did you start? How long ago did you think, hey, I may want, because it takes I guided for a little while. And it takes a special person to do that, because there's so much, not only what you have to know, but what you try to have to pass on to your clients, because every day is a new client, every day is a new experience, every day is a new conditions that you face on the water. So can you remember back far enough where you went, I think I really want to do this? Because in part, that really does take somebody who is selfless. I mean, you really want to pass on what you've learned to other people and have them have a successful day. When did that all start coming where you went, I think I want to do this?
So I knew probably about 5 years ago that I wanted to get into the guide side of things. And with the river being federal water, obviously there's some steps that need to be taken to be able to guide here, the captain's license, the special use permit. So I kind of started putting that ball into motion, stocking up gear and just upgrading, getting nicer and nicer equipment for my guys to be able to use. And I guess for me, what does it is I was at a point where I was taking my friends out a lot who don't fish all that often necessarily. And to see the absolute joy some of these guys get out of catching their biggest perch ever, or the best day of walleye fishing they've ever had, or their biggest crappie, or whatever it may be, you just can't replace that. I'm at a point now, and as a lot of guys who fish all the time are, that as far as my own personal fishing success and my own personal best, they're going to be hard to ever top at this point, just because of the amount of time I've put on. So I kind of saw that as an opportunity. Well, I can put other people on their new personal best or their biggest ever, and to me, that's the best feel, the absolute best feeling of being a guide is when a guy turns to you and said, that's my son's biggest walleye ever. I mean,
That's
there's
cool.
there's no better
That's
feeling
cool.
in the world, So it's just awesome to be able to share that experience with people.
Yeah, and this is not the first time you and I fished together. First time was actually last year or earlier this year when we were perch fishing, and so kind of take people through. Your season really does not stop.
No, it's pretty much nonstop, So starting off in the spring every year, the spawn gets incredibly good. The walleyes and perch move up towards the dams and to some of these backwater areas to spawn, and we're on them hot and heavy then. And then, after that, after the walleye and perch spawn kind of calms down, we go into the white bass, the bluegills, the crappies, the walleyes, and we chase them around all summer. The pike. That's one of the beautiful things about the river here is it's just such a diverse area. As me and you have talked about, it can be bluegills one day, crappies the next, perch the next, walleyes the next, pike the next, smallmouth, largemouth, and the list goes on and on and on, and that's one of the beautiful things. And then, fall, we get on the perch really good again in the fall, and the walleyes are still more than willing to cooperate. The crappies and bluegills remain good all year. And then come ice season, we hop in the airboat and we chase the big jumbo perch around for the most part.
There is nothing I could recommend to somebody, especially ice fishing. First of all, when everything goes right, it's one of the easiest ways to catch 100 fish in a day. When
Right.
it goes good.
When it goes good.
When it goes good, right.
Yep.
We've both been on sides when it's been tough, but we've also both been on the sides, and I know you've seen a lot more of that, where it can happen fast and furious. And
yeah.
And the coolest thing about that airboat, one, that is one of the coolest things. If any of you out there have never experienced that, you've got to try this with Adam. I mean, the Crosse area is beautiful any time of the year. In the wintertime, I think it's incredible because all of a sudden you are seemingly out in the middle of nowhere. And the only people that can reach these places where a lot of these fish winter and hold up is those who have access to airboats on this Mississippi River.
Absolutely.
And the cool thing is that's where some of the thickest and most stable ice is where they can go. So when we were out there that day, I think you had 20 or maybe 20, 25 clients out there with us. So tell everybody a little bit about if they're interested in this ice fishing thing. And folks, I'm telling you, I mean, you'll catch crappies, you'll catch bluegills, but the jumbo perch out there, I think whatever most people go for that time of year. But tell them a little bit about how they can get involved, because I don't think it ever gets old talking about that ice fishing thing, because that is one of the coolest adventures. So what can somebody do if they want to come ice fishing with you?
Yeah, so Adrenaline Angling Guide Service, you can go on my website, book right online. We've got a photo gallery on there of some of last year's catches, and there's, the video with Jim and stuff that we did just to give you a good idea of what you're getting yourself into. But as you talked about, that airboat experience is really for a lot of people a bucket list item, and it is just one heck of an awesome experience. I mean, you're going from open water to ice to breaking through ice to, I mean, it's just, you can go anywhere. If we got to drive through a cornfield to get where we're fishing, that's what we're going to do. So it's an awesome experience. And I remember that day we had you out. I mean, how many over 12 inches did you have in 20 minutes?
A lot.
Right.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And just being out there with the people and seeing everybody have fun. And then it's funny because you can start seeing the perch move down that weed line we were on, because we start catching them, then somebody else starts catching them, and then everybody's pulling fish out of there. And
absolutely, when those schools move in, it's fast and furious sometimes. But yeah, Adrenaline Angling Guide Service, we'd love to be able to get you guys out this winter.
Yeah, and I know we had a couple people that watched the show already went and booked with Adam for an open water thing, and they already had a great time. And I will tell you one thing about the ice fishing. It was so fast on some of the fish that we were catching with Adam out there. I'll never forget is I dropped the jig down there, saw him light up on the hummingbird, dropped the jig, set the hook, and the fish came right out of the hole. My cameraman's like, dude, that's almost a 12-inch fish. Can you slow down a little bit so I can turn the camera back on? It was so fast.
Oh yeah!
As soon as that bait got down there, those perch were hitting so quick, and it's so much fun. And that is a great thing for a father and son, or even there's a lot of high school ice fishing teams now. But that's a pretty cool thing if they want to do that, where they could book with you and do it, isn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I said, the airboat is, every time I hop in the airboat, Jim, it never gets old. It's one of those things that it's just, I don't care who you are, it's cool. You know what I mean?
It was just fun. Now we go into summer a little bit. Now, what we were doing was we were going after those white bass and those crappies. So,
Yep.
when does that white bass typically? I mean, besides the high water this year, when does that white bass bite typically pick up?
Well, it was good even in the high water. It lasts spring basically all the way through the summer, and then the fall gets a little spotty again, but the spring all the way through the entire summer is really good. They come up to spawn in the spring, and they find a ton of food up by the dam areas where we're fishing them, and they don't want to leave. Why would they when they've got an all-you-can-eat minnow buffet every day?
Yeah, you ain't kidding. That was just absolutely crazy, just how fast and fierce they were biting. And then since you had the live scope, or we caught them. I think the first 3 or 4 casts I had fish on. I mean, we just got there, threw in, and it was bam, 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 and then they start going deeper, which is what they typically do when you start having more boats and things like that. But
Yep.
having that forward-facing sonar, you were able to dial that in, and then we just let the bait sink down a little bit, and then we started catching them again. And you're very good with that forward-facing sonar, and that. I wonder if you can elaborate a little bit with people. That's just not something that you can pick up and do. You spend a lot of time with that, and I noticed even you were out there. You're like, well, I'm gonna hone this in a little bit more, and it's always a learning curve with that, isn't it?
Oh yeah, big time. That's another one of those things, as we discussed a little bit ago, you just can't replace time on the water. And the more opportunities you give yourself to mess with some of this new technology, the better and better you get at it, and even in the bass fishing world, like the Mega 360 and the side imaging, it all plays such an important role. Between my side imaging and live scope, I can learn in 10 minutes what would have taken me a week to figure out otherwise. And I think that's a big thing is I see guys that will have a really nice unit and they're not using it for half of what it's capable of doing. They're looking at depth and water temp, and really, with the way technology is nowadays, Jim, as you know, you can literally say, hey, that's a pot of fish on my side imaging. I'm going to spot lock right here. I'm going to throw at them and I'm going to catch them. I mean, it's just the technology advancements, especially like the past 5 years with the forward facing sonar now have just been incredible. But I think that's one of the big mistakes I see guys using is they're not trusting their electronics. And a lot of guys don't know how to trust their electronics because they don't know what the heck they're looking at,
Yeah. Yeah, great point. And one of the things that I think is cool that as good as you've gotten with that, so if you've got a father and son out there, or father and daughter, a couple kids, and you can take up to 4 people in your boat, which we just shot a great show with Adam for my show, Jim Crowley Outdoors and Wired to Fish TV, which will be airing soon. And we talk a little bit about that, about how much you enjoy having kids out there and that you can take up to 4 people. Now, the reason I'm saying all this is to tell you that not only when we were catching fish, but Adam was constantly adjusting that forward-facing sonar, which way are the fish headed, which way are doing that. So, when your kids are busy reeling in fish, although he's helping with that, he's also keeping another eye out, like he's got eyes in the back of his head, for crying out loud, trying to see, okay, they caught one, but now where can I get them to catch a couple more? And so there, as much fun as those kids are having, you're constantly working until the end of the day to make sure they're having fun. But those tools really come into play because not only does it make your job a little bit easier, once you've learned it as good as you have, it makes your job more consistent, which leads to more fun for them, isn't it?
Oh, big time. I've said it time and time again that, I feel very confident as an angler, but there has been several days where if I didn't have that technology in the boat, I don't know how the outcome would have been. And because I had that technology, it's led to some very quick limits sometimes. So it's just really, it's an incredible thing to have. The price up front is definitely a little staggering to some people, but it's when it makes my life that much easier, I can't imagine being a full-time guide without it. I just can't. Like I said, there's been days it's made me look like even a better angler than what I have been that day.
It's nice when technology works out that way. You're like, ooh, man, I didn't even expect that to happen. Man, am I glad I had that.
Well, you know what? Here's what I've found, Jim. It's really hard to catch fish if there's none around the boat.
Yeah, I know.
So finding them is half the battle sometimes.
It's just like when you're duck hunting, you'll hit more if you shoot closer to the bird. Right?
Exactly. That tends to help.
That helps. You know what we're going to do? We always do. We're going to take a break. We'll be back in two, and we'll talk more with Adam Christianson about what you can find out more this summer. But you got to book a trip with this guy. We'll be back right after this. American Tackle is home to the award-winning microwave line control system. Rod blanks to reel seats, ferrules to finish, grips to guides. They are committed to the very best in rod building components. Find out more, americantackle.us. With fishing beyond your expectations, indoor and outdoor activities, a vast variety of places to eat, drink, and stay. Discover your next adventure between the bluffs. ExploreLaCrosse.com. Located in Springfield, Illinois' largest selection of sports and sportswear, hunting, fishing, specialty shops and services, a 65-foot Ferris wheel, 16,000-gallon saltwater aquarium, and industry-leading knowledgeable employees. You don't take chances at Shields, ever. Go to Shields.com. Achieving affordable innovation through novel concepts and in-house ingenious designs. Cascading cost-effective e-commerce practices directly market to consumers, cutting costs by 30% or more on average. Affordable innovation, superior quality. Casking.com. Believing quality is measured by lifespan and harnessing their unique chemistry and engineering know-how. Dakota Lithium lasts 4 times longer, powering your passion with an 11-year warranty. Find out more, DakotaLithium.com.
Slick Fish Radio with Jim Crowley can be seen and heard on Roku, Fire TV, Spotify, Amazon Music, and iTunes.
Come here. Get in here. Yeah. Nice fish right there. Hi, I'm Jim Crowley. Make sure you catch my show, Jim Crowley Outdoors, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, exclusively on Wired to Fish TV. Look for Jim Crowley Outdoors on Wired to Fish TV on free ad-supported streaming TV, including Plex, that can be downloaded in the App Store at Apple TV, Roku, Samsung, and others. Yeah, we are back with Adam Christianson. And Adam, I want to get into a little bit. The summertime fishing has been, now that the water level is stabilized, has been hot and it's going strong. Now, is the white bass still good, or are you starting to concentrate more on the walleyes now since those are really going well?
So the white bass are still going good, but it's turned into more of an early morning or later evening type deal. Midday, as you saw that day you were up, like you said, they go a little deeper and they become a little more lethargic. But early mornings and early evenings, it's still incredible right now. We're really kind of switching gears for the most part, though, to walleyes and bluegills. I get an awful lot of guys that want bluegill trips in the summer, and the bluegills have started showing up where they're supposed to be after the spawn here, and that bite is incredible. Actually, we were just out yesterday. We had a 2-man limit in probably an hour yesterday. A big, 8.5, 9-inch bluegills.
Ooh. Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
Oh, yeah.
How are you catching the bluegills now? Is it just like little crappie jigs or minnows, or what are you doing?
So I'm drop shotting them with night crawlers, actually, little and leeches, pieces of night crawler and small leeches, and we're drop shotting them.
Oh, that's
so
nice.
It's a fun way to catch a lot of fish very quickly.
Yeah. So how far is that leader length on your drop shot? Like 10 inches or something, or what do you do?
Yeah, well, I'll kind of vary it depending on, so we're fishing them on wing dams, and I'll kind of vary it depending on how the rock is on that particular wing dam that we're fishing right then and there. Some of the wing dams have got bigger boulder rock, or what I call boulders, and some of them are smaller, not gravel by any means, but like chunk rock, so it just kind of depends. But yeah, I'd say anywhere from 6 inches to a foot for the leader on the drop shot.
And so you're just using a real small size hook and a little piece of night crawler up there, and just
I'm using a light wire Aberdeen, like a number 8, like light wire Aberdeen, so it can bend out nice on those rocks if you get hung up. And a little chunk of crawler or a whole each, and they are just gobbling it up as quick as you can get in there.
So that's cool. So now people can come. So if they're bringing their kids with them, they can come catch some bluegills, and then you guys say you switch gears and go after walleyes. Now, I did that with you, and that's probably just something that you do a lot of. Hey, let's go catch this for a little while. Let's go give that and give the client the variety, or they can stay on the same fish, right?
Absolutely. That's, as we've talked about so many times, Jim, that's one of the beautiful parts of the river is if you want to go catch one specific species and you've done your homework and put the time in, or if you hire a guide like me who has already done that homework for you, you're going to go out and catch whatever you want to catch for the most part, and that's part of why I never get sick of fishing the river. Like I said, the 7 to 10 species days are pretty pretty typical here. I would say more days than not, I'm catching 6-7 different species.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Now, how are you catching those walleyes? You were talking about willow cats with them before, which I thought was really pretty cool. And it's kind of like a catfish rig or a Carolina rig with them. Or are there other ways you're catching them, or that's a pretty staple way to do it?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that's my go-to. I know some guys will kind of try and substitute that with crankbaits or plastics, which you can get away with once again early in the morning or later in the evening when the fish are super fired up at first light. I got a nice 22-incher to go on a crankbait yesterday morning. But for the most part, I stick with the willow cats. And what we're doing for that is, we use 10-pound braid to a 12 or 15-pound fluorocarbon leader with a barrel swivel and various sized egg sinkers, whether it be a 1/4 ounce, a 1/2 ounce, 3/4 ounce, just depends on the currents and where you're at. And then basically a big octopus hook. And what we're doing with these willow cats, which are like a small catfish for the guys that aren't familiar with them, is we're throwing them out on, towards the tips of wing dams, and we're very slowly dragging back towards the boat. And usually somewhere in between where you cast and dragging back towards the boat, you get popped along the way. So it's just, it's a really cool way to fish them because it's unique to this area.
Yeah, and the cool thing is if you have somebody who's inexperienced or a younger individual out there, that's a bite that's pretty good. That rod can just start pulling back toward the water.
Exactly.
And that's fun for them, and just out of instinct they can set the hook that way. That's just a fun bite.
Yes, it is. And I've had some guys question, when we're doing it that are new to it. Well, how do I know what a bite is? Answer is real simple. Rocks don't move.
That's right. If the rod's pulling toward the water,
set the hook.
Yeah, exactly. Now, give out some information about how people can find you. I know you talked a little bit about it before, but where are the places on social media that they can find you? How can they get a hold of you? And then the information will be up on the video anyway. But how can they get a hold of you so they can come and do this?
Yeah, adrenalineanglingguideservice.com. Otherwise, we are on Facebook at Adrenaline Angling Guide Service. Give me a call, shoot me a text, 608-451-2986. I'd love to get some of you guys out here and show you what the Mississippi River and the La Crosse area is all about fishing-wise. It is nothing short of world-class for a lot of different bites. I would say that, the big perch in the winter and the fall and the spring it's as good of a trophy perch fishery as anywhere. We get a ton of nice bluegills, a ton of big crappies, some really nice walleyes. I mean, like I said, anything you want to catch, it's basically a trophy fishery for, which is absolutely awesome because you hear about, you think of Lake Gunnersville down south or some of these trophy destinations, it's bass, and that's it for trophy-wise. Here, you truly do have the opportunity to trophy each and every time that you hit the water of several different species.
Yeah, and I know just in the years that we've been fishing here, I've caught big crappies, I've caught big smallmouth, I've caught big largemouth, monster perch, and we haven't even scratched the surface of everything yet. And I'm glad you and I have got to spend a couple days. I know this last trip we laughed a hell of a lot more. I'll tell you what, you were so busy on the ice fishing thing, we were done with the show in like no time. And this time, at least we got to spread stuff out, got to talk, got to have a good time together and catch a couple different species, and have a lot of fun. So I'll tell you, folks, as long as Adam's going to be with us here for a couple more minutes, just want to tell you, I thoroughly enjoyed myself both times with him. We had a lot of great times. We met, especially when you're ice fishing, we met a lot of nice people out there and had a great time. And they spoke very highly of Adam. The people that I've told about fishing with him, and after that show will be on, I've just had some really nice comments of people that I know have went with him and that have had a good time with him. He represents his guide service and the La Crosse area extremely well. You will not be disappointed. You will have an opportunity to catch some good fish. And what I always tell people, whenever you go with the guide, if all else fails, listen to the guide.
Absolutely.
Okay? So just listen to the guide. They are raised in this area. He's born and raised in this area. He knows what he's fishing for, and his number one goal is to make sure that you have a good time. And I recommend Adam Christianson and Adrenaline Angling Guide Service very highly, because if you have a chance to book and go with them, he will do his absolute best to get the job done with you. My friend, I really appreciate you taking your time out today. I know you're getting ready to go back out to the water. Thanks for taking a little bit of break and coming back in. But I will talk with you soon. God bless you. Stay safe, travel well, and keep catching them, buddy.
Hey, thanks for the opportunity, Jim. Appreciate you greatly. Always. We'll be in touch soon, buddy.
Hey, what a great time we had with Adam Christianson. And thank you for all of you staying on tonight and sending nice comments. If I didn't answer your comments or highs during the interview, I will do it after we go after the show on Facebook. And if you have any more questions, I will be more than happy to answer them for you there. I did put Adam's information up there at adrenalineanglingguideservice.com. As he said, you can find him on Facebook, and he's always got up-to-date pictures day to day of what he's catching, and he is a great guy to go with. My buddy, well, look who chimed on here. Hi, Dave McCorder coming on. Hi, Dave. How are you, buddy? Adam is just an absolutely fantastic guy, and thank you for all of us joining again tonight. Before you go, just want to thank our friends again at American Tackle Company. Looking forward to seeing them in a couple days as I head to Florida, and we'll be doing some posts from my tarpon trip down there to Florida. We'll be filming that show for another episode of Wired to Fish TV, so we'll keep you updated on that. My friends at Explore La Crosse, again, if you're looking for a great destination any time of the year, the La Crosse region is phenomenal. It's absolutely one of my favorites, and you can find out more at explorelacrosse.com. Shields, like I said, one of the best places if you want to stock up before you go to La Crosse. That is a great place to do it in that Shields area. Rick Reed just said thanks. Rick, thank you for joining. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate you. Our friends at Cast King, lots of new stuff coming out. We just got done doing a great show with Adam on white bass and crappies, and there's some really cool Cast King reels in there, very affordable ones. If any of you guys are going to castking.com, let me get you some discount codes. First of all, from my friends at American Tackle, if you're interested in anything from American Tackle, you can go to americantackleanglerproducts.com, put in that code JCO20, and you will get 20% off anything on the site. Also, if there's any that watch this, and any of you are interested in a pro staff position, are you interested in maybe learning to build your own rods? Do you want to get involved with 13-time industry award-winning company? That would be American Tackle. They have won the most. That is a company where the best components are produced. Go to American Tackle, put in that code JC20, and get money off or 20% off products there. And you can check into their pro staff program. A great company to get involved with. I've been there for a long time and love them over there. Now we're talking about Cast King, the show we just filmed with Adam. I used two reels over there. One was a Mega Jaws Elite. I used that spinning reel in a 2500 size. You will see that in the show coming out in a couple of weeks. I use that for white bass. It's also a great walleye reel as well as largemouth and smallmouth. Now, when it came to the crappie, I used a little reel over there, the 500 size. It's called the Cast King Summer Reel. It's only about $30, and I'm giving you a code right now, JC52AFF, where you can get 20% off anything on that site. That little summer reel was absolutely one of the best reels I've ever used. It probably is the best reel I've ever used for pan fishing. I also use it for ice fishing in a 500 size. But go to Cast King, check out their summer reel, and check out the Mega Jaws Elite. And if you see anything else on there, you want to try them out, use that code JC52AFF, and you will get 20% off. So with all that being said, as I said, we're going to be on the road the next couple of weeks, going from north to south, going from Florida all the way up to Ontario. So if you like this show, please share it. We are growing a lot on Roku and Fire TV, and our social media pages are starting to grow as well. If you like this show, please do me a favor and please share it. Tell all your friends. We always do our best to have good guests with positive, straightforward information, and we are able to do that in part because of all of you. I really do appreciate all of you joining us when you do, all the positive comments and everything that you put on social media. And thank you for everything, because as I always say, if we wouldn't have a show if it wasn't for all of you. Looking forward to the next time. Stay tuned for our social media. If you haven't been on Instagram, you can follow us on Instagram at Jim Crowley Outdoors. You can like us on Facebook at Jim Crowley Outdoors. That way you will always be up to tune, and we will always give you the best information that we possibly can. Until next time, I appreciate each and every one of you. God bless you.